If you look forward, ma'am, the big question of the hour is, can India achieve $5 trillion target by 2024-25 without the intervention of any other major economic reform?
So I think given the sharp growth shock, even if we grow rapidly next year, we'll reach the end 2019 levels by end of 21.
Yes.
So it will be difficult to reach 5 trillion, to stay with the earlier timeline. But overall, my own belief is that since 2011, our economic growth has really suffered because we've had excessive macroeconomic tightening and an excessive focus on reform.
Yes.
Reform imposes costs, like we're seeing with these farmers' agitation. So best reforms are not those that external agencies are telling us to do. They're those which you implement by stealth. You improve the way the supply side functions, remove bottlenecks, reduce the costs of doing business, continue to do this, enhance competition among states. That's the best way to do labor reform, even agricultural reforms, So rather than make a central announcement, because in democracy, there are always some groups that are hurt and they start agitating, it becomes more of a problem. So reforms have to continue. I say that we have many supply side problems in an economy like India. They need to be improved. But it's an ongoing thing that must go on all the time. But at the same time, you have to maintain demand. And unfortunately, over the 2010s, partly because we ran into those double deficits after overstimulation, after the global financial crisis. So that decade saw extreme macroeconomic strictness, and industry growth, investment has really collapsed ever since, been very low ever since 2011. But some essential reforms were done, such as the IBC. We had overlending by banks, NPAs. So we have sufficient reform in the financial sector. Banks, actually, net NPAs were down to 4% in public sector early this year. And private sector banks also have acquired large equity cushions. NPAs have not risen with this crisis. They're seeing quite a lot of repayment. So they're ready to lend, and we have diversification in the financial sector. So now, the realization that you need to give macroeconomic stimuli while continuing reforms. I think we will do better in the next decade if that position is taken. So according to me, what the government has to do is continually do supply side reforms quietly, and at the same time make sure that demand is one step ahead of supply. Then their activity increases, private enterprise comes forth, they make money. Then we can grow rapidly because we have so much of labor and our capital is flowing in, can be used productively. We have a big opportunity because of diversification from China. Another reason is a better than expected recovery in exports, because you talk to industry on the ground, they say that they're getting inquiries from people who want to diversify from China, want to import from India, and also those supply chains, government's production, PLI, production-linked incentives.
Yes.
We're already seeing some industry come in more, and that can create large-scale employment.
And ripple effect, multiplier effect of that.
Yes.